All right, so in this video, we're going to go through sample question 84 from the Society of Actuaries ExamP list of sample questions. Question reads, let X and Y be the number of hours that a randomly selected person watches movies and sporting events, respectively, during a 3-month period. The following information is known about X and Y, and then it gives, expected values, variances, as well as the covariance between X and Y. The total of hours that different individuals watch movies and sporting events during the 3 months are mutually independent. 100 people are randomly selected and observed for these 3 months. Let T be the total number of hours that these 100 people spent watching movies or sporting events during this 3-month period. Approximate the value of P of T less than 7,100. So the probability that this total is less than 7,100 hours. A couple of things I want to point out. I can immediately see that this is a problem that will involve using the central limit theorem. The reason why I know that is because we have all these randomly selected people, so we know they're independent from each other, and they have this identical information about them in regards to hours spent watching movies and sporting events. So they're identical, right? They're identical and independent to each other, which means the central limit theorem can apply to this in order to approximate probabilities. So we'll be using the central limit theorem and the normal distribution, a concept to be very familiar with. Now, one thing I do want to point out, although each person is independent from each other, if you take a specific person, the time they spend watching movies and the time they spend watching sporting events, that is not independent. How do we know that? This covariance, right? The covariance between X, the hours spent watching movies, and Y, the hours spent watching sporting events, is not 0. If it's not 0, they are not independent. If the covariance is 0, you have independence. Okay? So let's start this off. We need to find T. So what is T? Well, T would be if I added the hours of all these, the watch time of all these 100 people, right? So it'd be X1 for person 1 plus Y for person 1 plus X for person 2 plus Y for person 2 all the way up to X, the hours spent watching movies for person 100 plus Y, right? Sporting events. Hours spent watching sporting events for person 100, okay? And we've randomly selected these people. Now, like I said, we're going to use the central limit theorem. We're going to use a normal distribution. So what are the important things in a normal distribution? We need the expected value, which is mu, as well as the, the standard deviation, okay? Which means we're actually going to need the variance to get the standard deviation. So one thing that might help us out is if I group these, right? And do, total watch time for person 1, total watch time for person 2, regardless of what they end up doing. And the way the central limit theorem is going to work for a total is it's going to be equal to the expected value of each individual multiplied by the number of items I have. So since I have 100 people, it's going to be n times, the original expected value of, I'll just say some random variable a, right? Just because I'm using X and Y already here. Well, that's going to be equal to, there are 100 of them, times the expected value of X and Y, X plus Y. Something you should be familiar with is actually splitting this up. So this becomes 100 multiplied by the expected value of X plus the expected value of Y. Now, luckily for us, and keep these in parentheses, of course, luckily for us, they give that information up here, right? So this is going to be equal to 100 times 50 times 20 plus 20. And that gets us 100 times 70, which gets us 7,000. So we found our expected value. We found our mu value to be 7,000. Okay. And just for simplicity, I'm going to grab another sheet of paper and use that, just for readability, use that to find our new variance. So we need to find the variance of the total, and it's going to work the same way, right? So the variance of the total is going to be equal to n multiplied by the variance of each individual, right? Because they're identical, we can do this, of, let's say, again, A. Now, this is 100, the number of individuals we have, multiplied by the variance of x plus y. Now, here's the thing. This is not equal to the variance of x plus the variance of y. What this is equal to, and that would be true if they were independent, which in this case they are not. So what we have to write out, and this is something you just got to memorize, this is equal to the variance of x plus the variance of y plus, and I'm going to write it down here just because I ran out of room, 2 multiplied by the covariance of x, y. All right, now this has to be the equation you use when you're taking the variance of the sum of two random variables when they are not independent. If you forget this 2 times covariance xy, when they're not independent, you're going to get the question wrong. You're going to get a wrong answer, and I'm sure that there is an answer choice that the SOA has put on that exam that accounts for this mistake. They've definitely done that. You know, they can be dicks. So now it's 100 multiplied by, what's the variance of x? We know the variance of x to be 50, plus the variance of y. We know the variance of y to be 30, plus 2 times the covariance of xy, which is 10 times 2, which is 20. So plus 20. Just like that. Alrighty. Now, this is going to become equal to 100 times 100, which is, I'm going to write this as 100 squared, actually, because this is equal to the variance. The number I need is a standard deviation, so sigma is equal to 100. Easy enough. So now I got our two important pieces here. 100 and 7,000. Now it can go about actually calculating this probability. So, what is the probability that t is less than 7,000? Well, I'm going to use the standard normal distribution. And in order to use the standard normal distribution, I need to normalize this, right, or standardize this. And that's going to be done. Look, I've done a new thing. I've started writing this in red. X minus mu over sigma, right? So this is going to be 7,000 minus probability of t minus 7,000. Oh, this is actually 7,100. That's important. 7,000 over 100 is less than 7,100 minus 7,000 over 100. And this is actually an easy computation. You don't really need your calculator. I'll rewrite this as z, right? Less than 100 over 100, which is just 1. So I'll go to my normal table. I've actually got kind of a, from an old stats class I took many moons ago, a normal table here. Now, your normal table that they're going to be giving you does not have negative z values. This one does. We're not going to even pay attention to that. Know how to find, the correct probability with like a z value of negative 1.8 or something like that. Well, anyways, this is not a negative value. So we look, z less than 1, I'll go for 1 down here, and it corresponds to a probability of 0.8413. Okay. Where z is the standard normal random variable. Another way this can be written is like this. Right? This essentially means the same thing. Find on the normal table 1, and then the actual probability that goes with that. Okay. Now, quick thing, look out for this trap. If this was z greater than 1, what you would need to do is then find 1 minus this number to get the actual probability. But that lines up with answer choice B. Right there. Okay? A little bit of a long-winded explanation, but knowing how to do stuff with the normal distribution, right? That lookup table and all that stuff, as well as applying the central limit theorem are very important concepts for life in general as well as this test. So, just to quickly go over, we identified, okay, identical independent events. Each person, they're identical and independent in terms of this watch time. So, I'm going to apply the central limit theorem because it's asking for the total amount of like a lot of these people. The total amount of watch time among a lot of these people. All right, so I just wrote out for kind of my own understanding just what that total amount would look like. I decided, okay, each person, they're independent, so I'm going to group watch time by person, the way I did here. Once I've done all that, I apply the central limit theorem. I get the expected value, as in the standard deviation, for my total. And that's the computation you see done here, as well as the computation on that other page you see done here. And once I get my new expected value, once I get my new standard deviation, I just calculate a z-score, right? I standardize this and go to my lookup table and get my final answer. All right, so yes, very important concept. If you have any questions, please throw it down in the comments. I'll answer to the best of my abilities. If this video helped you out, subscribe, hit the like button. That very much helps me. And if you want to see more problems like this, I got a playlist. Check it out. A lot of sample ExamP questions. Hoping to get more up there. And other than that, thanks for watching. Hope this helps.